So we wanted to move on to the next
I
team.
was gonna say, let's talk about another team that's actually like a little bit injury ridden as well
I was gonna
lately.
say it's kind of the opposite. They got hit right now with
That's
their
what
worst injury, and we don't
that's what
even
I was
know
gonna
how they're
say.
gonna make it through the playoffs without him.
Yeah. So let's talk about a team that's like injury ridden, and they have been, and they just became injury ridden. The Clippers, the LA Clippers. They made some big moves, obviously, and right before the trade deadline, and they made some good pickups.
They
Uh,
made a lot of moves. It was
they
I
did
was trying to go through and figure out exactly what they did, and it was just so much. 'Cause they were picking up people just to drop them and do all that. But at the end, I think they ended up getting rid of Reggie for
Reggie
Plumlee,
Jackson. They got rid of him. They picked up Plumlee. Yep.
getting rid of John Wall and Kennard basically for Eric Gordon. That's not exactly what the trade was, but that's basically
Pretty
what
much, yeah.
happened.
They pretty much
Uh,
got Eric Gordon in a three-team trade,
exactly.
for yep, which was a good pickup. And then in the
Um,
buy-in market, they picked up
I
Russell
would say
Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook, and they ended up getting Bones Highland as well,
Bones Highland,
which is
which is a
another good
great
pickup.
pickup,
Yes,
great
great pickup.
pickup as well. Let's talk a little bit about them. I mean, what do you think about their pickups?
I mean, honestly, besides one big name trade that the Suns made, if you had to pick a team that made the best trades when it comes to just value, it was
Mm,
definitely the Clippers.
mm.
Already had the playoff experience, two of the top two-way players in the league, and PG and Kawhi. Um, Deep team, very deep team. Great shooting team. Uh, Only big issue. And a great defensive team too. Only big
Great
issue
defensive team.
was their playmaking. So they got rid of Kennard, which while he was a great shooter, was a very big contract. Got rid of Wall, which really didn't fit their play style. Got rid of Reggie, who honestly was not that much of a facilitator. Picked up
He
Bones
couldn't score,
Highland.
and he can score as a bench player. That's why.
Yeah, he just
And
wasn't doing what he was supposed to do.
yeah,
He wasn't making the right decisions when he needed to
they
make
moved
them.
him from starter to bench, and then he couldn't score as a bench player, and then they had to get rid of him.
For sure. So picking up Bones Highland and Westbrook gives them exactly what they need. And not only that, it allowed Terrence Mann to really emerge as that starting point guard, and he just seems perfect fit next to Kawhi and Paul George. So I really am impressed with what that team did, and why
Yeah.
everyone keeps sleeping on them. And unfortunately, Paul George going out this week for what seems
Hmm.
like at least the first round of the playoffs.
A
It does
huge, huge
suck.
loss.
Yeah, it does suck because they really they were really the best team like after trade of what they got to what they had, and I was really excited to see a fully healthy Clippers team really just make some noise. But I mean, just like we just said, talking about KD and what we had to deal with the Nets for the last few years, like we have yet to see a fully healthy Clippers team, and at this point, are we even gonna ever get it?
Yeah, it seems like PG and Kawhi can't be on the court together at one time. Like they get a few games going together, and then like one of the guys like he's just out for like a twisted ankle or something, and then it just goes from there. I mean, I will say I do agree with you that if not looking at a superstar trade, but if you're looking at the most impact that guys are gonna have on a team, the trade that the Clippers made were incredible. I think they made the most impact on their team, and they made the most trades to have a championship impact on their team. They
Hmm.
got literally everything they needed. Like the one thing
Yep.
that you didn't say that they don't have is really they don't have size on that team. The biggest guy is Ibaka Zubac, and he's been kind of on and off getting injured.
Well, that's what they
So
got
they
Plumlee for.
exactly
Yeah.
that's the reason why they got Plumlee. And before they got Plumlee, the only tall guys that they had over 6'8" were Moses Brown and
Mm.
Diabate, and
No, you're
like
right. You're right. They did have a
they
very
had
big
one of the
problem with no
shortest.
size and no depth at
Yep,
the center position. You're right. So yeah, that Plumlee big was even bigger. Yeah.
huge for
Yep.
them. And I'll say like I mean they got rid of Reggie Jackson because they didn't have bench scoring, and I think that Russell Westbrook bringing him in.
No, it wasn't just the perfect situation to bring him in. The fact that they honestly him getting left in limbo to die was a perfect opportunity for them
Yep.
to say, listen, you're coming in on the minimum and you're starting on the bench. You can
Yeah.
do whatever you need to do on the bench, but you're starting on the bench. Oh, and fourth quarter, key moment, close games. Don't even think about it, bro.
Well, he's not even going to be
There's
in the game at
you,
that moment.
no,
They're going to
that's
take him out like 5 minutes
That's what I'm
left in the
saying. So
game.
that they basically
He's
said
going
you're
to be.
coming off the bench and you're not playing in the fourth quarter. And he found a way to accept that. And I think I've been saying it since last year. That's what they should have did to Russell from the get go.
Yep.
So I finally think that was the biggest key piece because he looked like he's starting to shine and having that someone to facilitate that bench, pretty much having Eric Gordon be a scorer and a shooter right next to him, getting that pick and roll with Plumlee being able to do what he does best, I think is gonna even now, especially now with the absence of George, I think it's gonna really help them.
I definitely do, and I mean Eric Gordon is definitely a scorer as well. He can score when he wants to. Obviously he's inconsistent at times. I mean, so is Russell Westbrook, but when he plays on the bench, I think Russell Westbrook is a lot more consistent than he's been in his whole career, especially even shooting the three. Like my man is shooting 36%. I mean, we don't want to say that's great or anything, but that's better than he's had in and this is just while he's been on the Clippers, 36%. This is better than he's shot in his whole career. My man used to shoot like 28%, 27%, 30%. Like 36, I'll take from Russell. Like he's not a great three-point shooter. He's not known for that, but right now he's actually shooting them and making them. And I do think that the Bolden Highland trade was huge for the Clippers. I mean, that's another guy that is going to play great in that Tyrone Lue system. That defense is amazing from him, and he's another guy that can actually score as well. Like he had a season or a game in this season in Denver where he scored 26 points in 22 minutes. So he can definitely score the ball if he needs to. I think that you know they're definitely adding depth where they need to, where they know
Hmm.
that their top guys are getting injured, so they need that depth scoring, and they're getting it. And right now, it's tough without Paul George, but I think I expect them to definitely make the playoffs and kind of fight with Phoenix for that 4 seed. I really expect them to fight with Phoenix for that seed. Um, you know what? I'll say it. I think that they're probably gonna get that 4 seed.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't even know what to think about rankings because right now
I know
the, the
it's
the Suns, the Clippers, and the Warriors all got the same amount of wins, just all different losses. And obviously the next two, three seeds are one loss behind. So and one win behind. So it's pretty much one full game. So I really don't know what to think. But I'll be honest, I do know that Paul George really affects them. 'Cause when
yeah,
you got a team like they have an 18 plus 18 score differential, but they averaged the 22nd most points in the league while being the ninth best defense in the league when it comes to the same rating. And that's because they great defensive team but they don't score often. And majority of their points do come from Kawhi Leonard or Kawhi
Paul. Yeah,
and Paul. So having Paul and his 20 something points getting right out the lineup, it's going to be hard for them to make that up on a team that already doesn't score much.
I agree.
So I do think it's going to be a lot more difficult for them to not only get good playoff seeding, make it far in the playoff just to finish the season. They're going to struggle to find their identity, especially because Lord knows Kawhi can't play 2 games back to back so like you know what I'm saying like you're not gonna get full I want to say commitment because obviously he's committed, but at this point it's very clear on what he's doing when it comes to protecting his body over everything else. So
So
it's
you know
just
what?
that
Oh, so you know what? You made some great points. I kind of want to change my answer then now that I think about it, because you just made some really great points. I think that you're probably right now that I think about it. They're not gonna, because these matchups are gonna be really tough. Whoever they play is gonna be Phoenix, Golden State. Like it could be Lakers possibly. Who knows? Dallas. I mean, they're gonna be some tough matchups. So you might be right. I do think that they're not gonna get that 4 seed. Yeah, I think that they're gonna move down. You're right about
now
that.
with PJ, honestly, if we did this episode 3 days ago, it would have been perfect. You would have honestly, I would have said, just for the fact that they've been 5-5, they
Yeah,
really
I'm
have
saying
been
like they've
kind of.
been pretty good. They've been
That's
pretty
what I'm
good,
saying.
and
They've been really, just trying their best to stay afloat. But now I don't see the last couple games going their way.
yeah. Without PG, it's gonna be really tough. I mean, I do think that Bones Highland is gonna step it up. Eric Gordon is gonna step it up, but you're right. It's gonna be tough for them to get past that
It's
first
got to
round
be
for me.
Terrence Mann.
He's definitely gonna. He's always steps it up in the late in the season and
No,
towards the playoffs.
right.
But the
And he
problem is
did
gonna be
last
in the
year.
playoffs. Like I don't expect them to fall down too much. Like I don't think that they're gonna miss the playoffs. I
No, no,
definitely
no.
don't think they're gonna do that. But then again, like, they're only 2 games from missing the playoffs as well. Like I said, Phoenix to me, Phoenix at the 4 seed to missing the playoffs is 3 games away now. So, it's crazy. This is gonna be crazy for the seeding that they get. I think that you're probably right. They're not gonna win their first round matchup because whoever they play is gonna be tough, especially if they don't get Paul George. I was looking at it thinking that Paul George was gonna come back, hopefully by first round, but if he doesn't, then
No, they said in the first round he get reevaluated,
mhm,
and honestly, that just means to me he's not coming back till probably end of second. 'Cause
yeah,
at that point, just reevaluate him don't mean you could throw him right in the court.
yeah, and especially because Phoenix is gonna have a lot more size. I mean, you're gonna have teams like Minnesota a lot more size. Dallas has more size. Yeah, they're gonna get beat down low with just that one guy, Plumlee and Zubac. Yeah.
Nah, definitely.
Made some good points there. Yeah,
So
definitely
how?
changed my mind on them. To be honest, I mean, I was gonna say this. Like, I had the Clippers going to the NBA Finals this year.
Yeah,
That was my
once they made these trades before that injury, that was the other team that I said I definitely would have picked them in the
yeah.
Suns to be in the conference finals.
And for me, it was before the season started. I had them in the finals
You
this
did.
year.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I had them, going there. But looking at it now, if Paul George doesn't come back, they're gonna need a miracle to win this first round. If there's some way that they get an easy matchup, let's say Golden State doesn't have their full, lineup there as well. You never know. It could be a good matchup there in the first round, and then if Paul George comes back, maybe makes a miracle. I could definitely see them with a full squad making it to the NBA Finals, but as of right now, I don't know if I could trust that. I don't know if I could trust that.
No, 100%. Golden State's probably the best matchup they could hope for, just because they've been injury ridden a little bit lately as well. And I think besides winning their last two, they were like 2-6 before that, so they really haven't been playing the best.
Yeah,
But if they definitely have to play the Suns or even someone like the Timberwolves,
yeah, they're done. Yeah, with Rudy Gobert, with Cat, like down low, you're gonna get beat all day.
and we all seen the Clippers. They honestly, one or the other, Kawhi or PG, has not been able to carry them through a playoff series yet.
Yeah, I mean, no, Paul George did last year. You can't say that. 'Cause I think Paul George did last year. He did. It was Paul George and Terrence Mann together. They kind of, got him through that one playoff series, but the second round they didn't fare so well. But that first round it was Paul George and Terrence Mann. But
So, how far do you think they're going this year? Now that we know Paul George
yeah,
is definitely not coming back for at least maybe the conference championship, maybe late semifinal round.
see if it's like that, then I don't expect them to get past the first round. Then, to be honest, but like I said, it all depends on matchups in the West. If they get an easy matchup, let's say Oklahoma somehow wins a few games and they end up the 5th seed, and I don't know, the Clippers end up the 4th seed or something like that, and they have to play each other. I could see Clippers beating OKC in the first round, and maybe they get lucky and they have to play Sacramento in the second round. Then I could definitely see them, having a push, a tight game or tight series with Sacramento, especially if Paul George is upcoming in that second round. The only way I see them getting to the conference finals, the Western Conference Finals, and to the finals is if Paul George is there second round, beginning of the second round. That's the only
Yeah.
way. And they have to get a very good matchup in the first round. If they don't, then I expect them to lose to any, like, literally Phoenix, Minnesota, Dallas, the Lakers, any of those 4 teams, I expect them to lose to.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't got them with the recent injury. I don't got them getting out the first round either. Um, Honestly, at this point, I don't think a team like the Thunder will miraculously make it up. Um, I'll be honest, because they're still above the Mavs and Lakers, and yeah, I don't know. But at this
Thunder have
point,
been playing very good lately.
they
Like
have they're 8-2 lately.
they just had two
So
wins in a row, two big wins in
yeah.
a row. So
So I'll be honest, I just don't think any matchup right now favors the Clippers without Paul George. Just not enough at this point. Do you Are you forced to bring Russell Westbrook to the starting lineup?
no, I think you keep him because he's playing great where he is.
And
I
that's what
think
I'm
they,
saying. So
I,
who?
I expect him to get the Six Man of the Year award. I think he's playing
Nah,
that good. You don't think he's gonna get it?
I don't think he
It's
is.
He. I think he might be
Yeah,
eligible.
how about
He's
say how
played
long
over
has he
like
been?
50 games in the 6 man role. So
Oh, he might be. Yeah.
He might be eligible, and
Um.
he's played great in that role. To be
Yeah.
honest.
So they might have to bring someone else up. But either way, I mean, at this point, I don't even know who, but I definitely think they should keep Russ on on the bench. But I don't think it's that good of a matchup for anyone. So I don't even think I don't even got them making out the first round.